So you're on air now, and over the next 60 minutes or maybe less than that, we'll cover a few things. So introductions to Circle One members. There is a mail in your mailbox with pointers to LinkedIn profiles if you wanted to have a closer look at who's in Circle One. We'll cover some key concepts that make up the smalloutside.com model. And then we'll zoom in on Circle One specifically today, and we'll leave some time towards the end for a wrap up. Participation is, there's no pressure for participation, but participate as much or as little as you wish. Let me just do this. Hey, Seb. We've just got started, Seb. Just for your awareness, we are now recording, so you are on air, but on offline recording. So we'll move on to knowing the elders. Like I mentioned, there is a spreadsheet which Meena kindly compiled with LinkedIn profiles for all members on Circle One. Bear in mind, it's a small list right now, very consciously kept to a few of us to keep this conversation meaningful. Over time, this list will expand. There are people who I wanted to reach, I wasn't able to reach simply because of time pressures. There will be full profiles, which we will build out over time. But for now, LinkedIn is the best tool. But for all other purposes, I think there are two common things between all members. Each of you have supported my crazy ideas, if I may say, over the last 4 years, some of you more recently, some of you even longer. And the reason why, and I don't say it for saying's sake, but I genuinely think each of you is awesome as a human being, and that's why you are there, you are here. So without much ado, I'll shift to what is small outside and what's the model. So there are two sides to small outside. During my one-to-one calls, I probably mentioned the left side and the right side. And that's essentially what it is. The left side powers the engine, so to say, and I'll explain what that means. And the right side powers the world. Big statements there, I fully appreciate, but it drives the point clearly, I hope. So on the left-hand side of the equation, we've got the future of work. This is a paradigm shift from where we are today. The world is still following industrial age models. They are past their use-by date, I think, in my opinion. Chuck and Agnes will probably attest this. They have been very close to this movement. I, in fact, came across both of them as part of the Open Assembly, which I've started some active participation in. But the future of work is really challenging that conventional thinking. It's asking questions like, do we need new models, especially with where COVID has brought us as a workforce, as humanity? Are there different models that we could be using in order to deliver our craft and make a difference? The focus for me, certainly on the left-hand side, is to create happy professionals and thriving workplaces. If 70% of the workforce is disengaged, I think it's a statistic that says a lot. Some say it is 65, some say it's 75, but it's roughly around there. So we need to understand why that is and look at models that address this, the underlying issues. The idea here is not, yes, it is altruistic. It's trying to bring a change to our world, but we don't want to do it in just conversations. We want to use self-sustaining models, and which actually enable individuals and small businesses. The focus has always been on keeping things small. Hence the name Small Outside. But the focus here is also to enable people to achieve their true potential. There is a Mackenzie report here, which you've got the link and you can have a look at it offline. I'll just open it here if it does very quickly. But there is a lot of work happening in the future of work, and you've got a link to this directly if you want to look at it while I cover the remaining topics. But there is a movement happening, and we are trying to get in front of that movement or be part of it. That's the left-hand side. The right-hand side, on the other hand, is looking at future of impact. And what do I mean by that? It's a term that I coined, and to be honest, very simply to rhyme or align with future of work. Through this particular side, what I'm really looking to achieve is we challenge conventional thinking with regards to how we create impact to our planet and our people. And questions here are, we're not saying let's do different things, but can we do the same things differently? Can we exploit technology for social good? So those are the conversations worth having. Again, we are looking at models that are self-sustaining, things that align to the inner calling and the purpose of individuals. They need to be self-sustaining. We don't want to depend on donations to create impact. There has to be a better way to do it. And all this is very closely aligned to the United Nations SDG. I'll just let someone in.
We invite you to a meeting and they organized it, and there you are.
Okay.
Hey, Sherry. We've got start. My Siri has taken up when I said, hey, Sherry. Sorry about that. Sorry. So the UN SDG, for those who are not familiar, it covers 17 goals. 16 of them are specific goals such as no poverty, zero hunger, good health. And if you look at, as in the easiest one to understand is, for example, green energy. Technology can play a huge role over there, but I think technology has a place for all of these goals. The 17th one is partnership for these goals. In a way, what we are trying to do through Small Outside is really aligning to goal 17 so that all the remaining 16 goals can be supported. So those are the two sides, the left hand and the right hand, or left side and the right side. The idea here is to use the left hand side of the equation to generate revenue, to kickstart future of work, future of impact initiatives. We're looking at a technology startup model over there. So use technology startup paradigms and models in order to get these ideas off the ground. The difference there is they're focused on a triple bottom line. Profit is definitely a goal, but also people and planet are part of those sustainable startups. Jake, do you want me to pause at this point if there are any questions? Else I'll shift to the next slide.
Carry on, Dash. I'll give you a shout when there's a question.
Okay, sounds good. So the next one is, how do we actually get something like this up and running? Now, I haven't necessarily figured everything out, but the models that I'm proposing here are there to be critiqued, to be questioned, to be enhanced, to be developed further. So I'm proposing that each member has 4 aspects to their lives. 2 of them are on the professional side, the industry vertical and expertise horizontal that they belong to. Just to bring it to life, in my case, my industry vertical for the last 11 odd years has been mobility and transport, and my expertise has been system integration. So those are my 2 dimensions in my professional life. In my personal life, I have 2 other dimensions, the physicality of my existence, which is the location, North Hampshire, and the passion, which I have 2 particular ones, very close to my heart, mental health at workplace and decent work for all. So those are the different dimensions that all of us have in some shape or form. The last one, the passion one, some people are very aware of what their passion is, some people are not. It's nascent, and I'm hoping models like these will be able to enable people to identify their deeper purpose. The concept of circles is really, it's a mechanism for people to interact with like-minded people and achieve great outcomes for themselves and the world. Now, how does that actually work? So these are thriving circles of trust, as I call them, and trust is very important. And thriving, in fact, all words over there are important. What we don't want is create social networks or groups of people who rarely talk to each other. These are groups of individuals who are very actively participating in conversation. They are willing to reach out to each other shamelessly. So it's like, if I'm stuck with something on system integration, if I have a forum, I can reach out without even knowing each person by name, expecting to be helped, and likewise expecting to help as well when somebody else needs support. The power of such a network would be incredible, in my opinion, where if I had access to 600 people who I can reach out to, then that would just open up limitless possibilities for me. This would be a global network. Each circle would be limited to 150, and that's taking inspiration from Dunbar's research on the human cognitive limit for meaningful social interaction. These are not circles of hierarchy. I'm not proposing that there is any hierarchy. In fact, these are very flat circles, individuals who, irrespective of what position or what where they sit in the ladder everywhere else outside the circle, over here it's absolutely flat. Everyone's at the same level. The idea here is if you have hierarchy, it breeds the wrong feelings among people, and it impacts collaboration as well. There will be a need for some enablement of these circles. Some people, there may be moderation, there may be energizing. So Chuck has kindly helped. He's built communities before, and he has kindly helped come forward to share his expertise and help us build these circles. So that's what these circles concepts are. So really 4 circles for each member, and a circle that people can absolutely trust and talk openly in and express what they want. Moving further from here, so where does circle 1 fit? Now, circle 1 is really the circle that circles the circles, if that makes sense. Now, it's a special circle, so all of us who are on the call today are not just going to be part of those 4 different circles that we mentioned, but we're going to be we are part, in fact, of the 5th circle, which in fact is the only circle that has physical existence right now. In composition, very similar to the other 150, although we are nowhere near those numbers right now. We want to grow this circle very, very carefully. What we want to do is make sure we get the right individuals over here, people who we can trust between each other and really make a difference. It's only for authentic individuals who share the vision and who really want to make a difference. Again, aptitude is absolutely valuable, but attitude is even more so. And that's going to be one of the principles as far as Circle 1 is concerned. And this, at the moment, most of us on the call are from the technology profession, but these are individuals from all walks of life, whether they are from, I think someone's keying away. Would you mind going on mute if you don't mind, please? If you mind. So there's a lot of background noise. I can never figure out where. I think it's here somewhere, isn't it? Well, I can't find the muting button, but oh, there you go. Right. So yeah, so at the moment, most of us are from the technology sector, and rightly so, because we're pushing technology for good. but it will be open, and it is open to people from other walks. We are looking at not just professionals, but professionals, small businesses. If large businesses wish to participate, absolutely yes. And members from the charitable sector who are making a difference, who are the foot soldiers on ground. And that will be the composition, although, like I said, we'll grow it carefully and slowly. We want the right people, not be in a rush to just have everyone there. And at the moment, I'm going through, if I'm being honest, I'm going through every person that I can think of who's influenced me or who supported me. And I'm tracing time back as long back as when I was young. So it's really looking at people, and all of them in some shape or form have inspired the concepts that I'm sharing today. It's not Dash's party. It's not for me to invite everyone, and at some point I'll probably want to take that right away from myself. And anyone can come into this circle as long as we keep to the 150 limit. And this is where I will be looking at Circle One members, existing Circle One members, to vet, gate, just let the right people in, so that we keep the ethos of what we're trying to do over here. In terms of how we operate, it's to, what I didn't want to do is create a demand on everyone's time. We all are very busy people. I've cleared my decks for all this, but that's not the case with everyone else on the call. Everyone's got a busy life. The goal here is to keep the demands absolutely to the minimum. It's 2 hours commitment per month, and that's to really attend these fortnightly calls every other Wednesday, same time, 5 to 6 p.m. We started pulling together the C-suite now. And again, everything that I'm looking to model into Small Outside on the surface looks almost exactly like what exists elsewhere. And that's important to avoid a cognitive dissonance here. If I start using terms which are very specific to Small Outside, I think that there's someone here. I need to. I thought someone was coming in. Never mind. Yeah, so at the moment we've started building the C-suite. There is a set of rules that we've started filling. Again, starting with Manan, who has been super instrumental in getting Small Outside to where it is today. The platform that you see online at app.smalloutside.com was mostly or entirely, I would say, built by Manan as part of his university summer project. So quite a bright guy, and I think he deserves it. Very young. Most CTOs are likely to be in their 40s. Manan's in his early 20s, but deserves that. All C-suite roles, by the way, are not for life. They only have a tenure of 1 year. That's to just bring in new perspectives. And I'll do a more detailed briefing session on the next one as to how this is composed and how we are running it. I've reached out to Sherry, who kindly accepted my invitation to be the Chief Brand Officer. A lot of this stuff, if you see the exclamations having disappeared from the screens, they are because of Sherry. She keeps me honest, she keeps me brief, although I do have a habit of babbling and waffling, and she keeps me honest on that. So thanks, Sherry, for that, and it's nice to have you as the CDO. And I somehow managed to wrangle Meena into the Chief Operating Officer. I think she amazes me with her ability to organize and make things happen. And I think with everything else she's done behind the scenes on Small Outside, I think she deserves to be that. So we've got 3 individuals who kind of occupied the place. Let me just make sure there's someone. Oh yeah, there's the thing. Okay. Right. Welcome back, David.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay. So that's how far we've got with the C-suite. Like I said, I'll do a detailed briefing. I remain the Chief Values Officer, and that's a self-titled role, if you like, because I think the ethos of Small Outside is most important to me. So I'll remain the CVO, but the rest of the roles will keep moving. And nothing's fixed, nothing's permanent. If someone who's in the office doesn't want to be in the office for the full 12 months, then absolutely life's demands have to be on it, and someone else can take that position. For all the C-suite roles that have not been fulfilled or filled, I wear multiple hats at the moment, right from the developer to the CEO on the Small Outside. It's a small operation right now, but we need to think of the future, working with a goal to make this successful. So I need to think of what a successful organization looks like. While I say all this, in the back of my mind is also the fact that I've given myself up to the end of this year. So if you see the countdowns behind me, or if you see the countdown over there, that's the number of days left to 31st of December. That's the point where I've got some very specific go, no-go criteria, which I think I've shared with most of you. It's something which I'm more than happy to share. In fact, it's on a mural board, which I plan to open source anyway, so it will be accessible to everyone. The goals are very, very specific, and if I try to explain them without the context, they wouldn't make sense. So we will keep that for another day. I'm going to give this my best shot. Make sure it happens. Make sure it succeeds. There's no guarantee I will, but I'm looking forward to your support in my success or failure. I hope I don't. Let me just go back, and Manan was just finishing a meeting, so I think he's here now. Right. So what is your role? And sorry, just going back to the third point, while I'm requesting 2 hours of your time a month, I'm fully cognizant that those 2 hours, because it's 5 to 6 UK time, which kind of works for most countries, there is still always that possibility you'll have a family commitment, a late running meeting. If you are able to look at the content offline, I'm planning to record each session. This will be published for consumption offline. At that point, do it in bite-sized chunks, 10-minute chunks if you like. But if you can let me know your thoughts, anything that didn't quite gel with your mind, whatever comments you have, any feedback is welcome. But what I'm really looking from you is, if there was a terms of reference, that is it, to be the counsel, someone who I can come to and say, look, this is what I'm trying to do. Does that make sense? And now, in interest of speed, we will go and keep doing things, as in we've been releasing a new concept every day from the time we started the countdown on from day 100. So if I wait for 2 weeks, things get slowed down. The approach we are taking is a very experimentation approach and a very design thinking approach. We will go ahead and put things live. And if something doesn't make sense, or the feedback that we get from the marketplace, so to say, we will incorporate it into the next release or make changes. And we've been doing 2 or 3 releases a day at the moment on this platform, and I think it's only going to get more frequent over time. But yes, if we've released something, if you notice something which doesn't quite compute well, just please shout out. I get told off by Sherry quite a bit, so she is tracking of course from a CBO perspective. But if you see anything that doesn't compute, please let me know. I'm reaching out to you to be an honest friend. I think you are individuals who will not be afraid of speaking out your mind and telling me off where I go wrong, and keeping me on track and the rest of the smalloutside.com team on track. We do need to streamline the conversations though. So Slack is the preferred tool for such conversations. We some of you have been on Slack for at least 3 years now, but it's seen different levels of engagements, and largely because I wasn't clear what I was trying to achieve, and that articulation has taken a good part of 4 years to come through. We will revive the Slack community. There are people who are currently, so we are spread out between the Slack network, the platform where, again, that started gathering momentum. We are hitting somewhere close to 300 after the recent communications on social media. We also have a LinkedIn group, which I think is somewhere around 350. So the next effort is certainly to consolidate everyone into a single place and start building those circles that I mentioned earlier. So we should hopefully see more presence on Slack. It works best on mobiles. That was part of the reason why some of the conversations started falling off. And that's because when you use the desktop version, Slack has algorithms which basically are designed for active teams. If it thinks you're not active, it will stop engaging you. So mobile is best. It sends you notifications as and when required. The intention is not to spam, although it can become very spammy. So at some point, we will start finding ways to keep some channels maybe very specific for communication or broadcasts, and then the rest for conversation. So watch this space. So at this stage, yeah, go on.
Dash, Chuck has asked, he says, we know how we let people into circle one, but how do we move people out to keep fresh voices coming in? And Ajit has asked, what about WhatsApp?
Okay, let's take one question at a time. So how do we get fresh blood in? I think it's upon, some of it is upon ourselves as Circle One members to be cognizant of why we are here and what is expected out of us. If life has other demands on us and we can't be as actively involved, or the direction of Small Outside doesn't align with our thinking anymore, then I would encourage everyone to be honest about it and be upfront and say goodbye, and that's a good thing. It's absolutely welcome. Equally, yes, there will be a saturation at 150. At that point, we will have to see how we do. I almost see it, Chuck, as a problem for another day. But I'm cognizant that at some point we'll reach that saturation and we will all start keeping old ways of thinking, and we'll need fresh blood in. And I fully get that. Maybe it's a conversation we all need to have as to how we do it. It's not a problem in the near future, so I'm tempted to leave it for a conversation in the coming days. About Ajit's question on what about WhatsApp, yes, we can, but what we are also trying to do is consolidate conversations. At the moment, if you see I have a bit of a mission control on my screen, which some of you may have seen when I toggle between screens. It is really difficult with the number of options that are there today to keep conversations connected, and maybe that's something we all build as a solution. How do you get all conversations in one place and have a master conversation application? Maybe, who knows? But at this stage, Ajit, while WhatsApp is probably great for quick conversations, and whoever you kind of connect with, you absolutely can use that. But I would encourage we use Slack. Yeah. Any more, Jake?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, so I think with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. There is a after party, although it is very physical in nature. So I know a lot of you are not anywhere close to Fondra. It is at the Aviator if you're nearby. I know Jake as in Jacob Lester, you mentioned you may join a little later, and David Millen, you're just around the corner. So if you're able to join, that'd be great. Some of us, as in certainly Meena, Manalni, we are heading in that direction with our daughter, and it'd be great to see you if we can over there. There is, while I said there will be no actions for all the Circle One members, there is going to be one at this point, right? And that's something which I'll send across. I was hoping to actually build the forms, live forms during this, which you would have been able to access during this presentation, and provide your thoughts and views. We didn't quite close that activity in time. The other reason I'm suggesting this action is I would like each Circle One member to look at the UN SDG and tell me which SDG is their passion most aligned with. For the other three circles, which is the vertical, the horizontal, and the location, I think I can figure that out from your LinkedIn profiles, but your passion is not necessarily known to me. Also, the request will be to nominate charity, a charity that you feel passionate about. There are lots of activities that are planned, a lot of them focusing on fundraising for small outside ideas. So the Million Dreams project, which I've shared with some of you, that will generate revenue to get the impact startups off the ground. But there is opportunity to generate revenue or donations, even or funding for charities that you would like to support. So if you are able to let me know the charities that are close to your heart, we'll put them on the list. I'll reach out to them and offer them the option to receive donations from our effort, whatever we generate. I don't know how much, but we will hopefully generate something. The last one is a very technical action, which Manan's got it on his list to simplify. The Sos Coins, which are basically stellar-based crypto coins that we've created. Again, that's a briefing for another session. But those stellar coins are at the moment being, so we created them in December last year, thinking we would be able to go and get an ICO in place so that we would generate funds to kickstart these projects. Sadly, the regulation in UK does not allow us to do that, so we need to go through a FCA approval. It's a long drawn process, a 12-month process with 25 grand bill, which I'll be willing to undertake, but only when we know whether this is all a go at the end of this year. So until that point, all participation, we want to recognize that participation through Sos Coins, which we would like to share with you. So there is a need for creating a private key and a public key. Obviously, the private stays with you. If you're very familiar with crypto, you probably understand these concepts. Anyways, if you're not, don't worry. We are trying to find ways to simplify it so that those digital wallets are ready for you for your safekeeping. That's really the final bit that I had to mention. And what I'll do is maybe we can come off sharing screen and I can, let's do that. I think that's the sharing button. There we go. So hopefully you can see me now and I can see everyone else. Can everyone see me? Okay.
Yes,
I think I've muted everyone, haven't I? Right. Okay. Feel free to unmute, guys, and it'd be good to get some feedback on what you heard today and what you saw and how crazy some of this sounds or doesn't. I don't know.
Well, thank you, Dash, first of all. I don't know if you can see me well because it's pretty dark here in Copenhagen. So, but it's nice to see familiar faces. So
Yes.
hello to everyone I know, John, Mark. I saw Baz as well on the Baz was on the call. So yeah, lovely to and Jacob as well, which I don't see his face, but he's here. So very nice to see you, and nice to meet you, everyone else. So yeah, thanks a lot for the all the work, the effort, and sharing with us, Dash. There's one question I had is you said we didn't have to contribute much. There were no expectation on our part to contribute to those meetings more than turning up, essentially. Which is nice. Thank you very much. We are very busy indeed for some of us, but if we want to do a little bit more, contribute, help you, I mean, how would you see that happening? Have you given some thought? Or,
So that's a good question, Seb, and thanks for coming forward to to help out. So I'm not going to deny or push back on any help that I'm offered. The effort is enormous. I'm putting something like 84-hour weeks, so I'll only welcome any help. The question is how. So let me cut it in two parts. The one question is it just listen in into these sessions? Not at all. It's I think you came in a few minutes late. So the bit that I mentioned at the start was very much the first maybe 2 or 3 sessions are likely to be more broadcast format where I'm sharing out because there is really a lot of stuff there which I need to share. And if I start requesting input without sharing that bigger picture, it could be a bit confusing. But at some point soon, or even now, just feel free. At the end of the session, there'll always be time. So we've got 18 more minutes today. But yeah, no, it's not a monologue. It's definitely a dialogue. And outside these hours, really, Seb, whatever you can give me, I'll take it.
No, fine. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll see as we go along.
Yeah.
Things will shape and cool.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ajit has got his hand up. Dash, I don't know whether you can see. Ajit wants to come in.
Yeah. Hey, Ajit.
Hi, Dash. Hi, everyone. Dash, sorry, I got a bit distracted for the third action. So what's on the crypto coins stuff? So can you reiterate that, please? Sorry.
So, right. So we are building an ecosystem, as in I call it the future of money. I don't call it, the world calls it. Our institutions are still coming up to speed on that, but that's the way to go. Blockchain will be the way to go. So we are looking at blockchain from various aspects, not just in terms of currency, but think of it as the local ecosystem through which we engage with each other. These will be pegged at $1 when we go for the IC. That's the vision I'm holding. We will have an initial coin offering very similar to what would be the initial public offering in the share market. So it's very similar concept. We have minted, if you want the word, 1 billion coins that have been minted. Now, it does mean if we were to achieve $1 per coin and we were to get all the billion into the market, then that is 1 billion worth of pot to work with. Big dreams, big ideas, and I don't want to think anything small at this stage. So that's where we are. Of course, we won't release the 1 billion coins. These will be released in a controlled way. Otherwise, it's like real money. It starts getting deflated if you're not controlling how it works. So, in terms of owning them, Ajit, I think Jake was the first one who raised his hand and was very quickly rewarded with 101 coins. So he said, where can I buy them? You can't. You can't buy them because of the FCA regulation. We can't sell it. The only way to earn it is by participation. So like today, your presence here is automatically earning you the SOS coins. That's the only thing we can do at this stage. At some point, of course, we will market them once we get the FCA approvals as real coins. And the market will decide whether it's worth $1 or a penny or worth 10. We don't know where this goes.
Okay, I don't understand this cryptocurrency world, actually. I'm losing some dollars there already.
You probably lost some big bucks over there. Had you got onto the Bitcoin thing? I never did. By the way, I didn't understand any of this until Manan came along and he said, wake up, my friend, let's get to the 22nd century. So that's the future.
That's how I was woken up by one of my friends, and I saw it going down.
Yes.
Few years back. Thank you, Dash. Thank you.
We are also, just on that note, and we are looking at the future of fundraising. As in, there is a lot of stuff. I don't know if you been to the site. There is a broadcast every day, and if you click the little bird or whatever, the cuckoo icon, you'll get the entire feed for. You should be able to see it. So over here at this corner, that's the feed that you're getting quite regularly of what is coming down the pipe. But by the way, when I say this, I think I put Chris is on his way, or on the way, in fact. And Dinesh was very quick to say, oh, right, so you've got your AI solutions in place. No, we haven't, right? We understand AI, we understand how this works. We have the capability and the knowledge. We are building as much as we can with the time and resources we have, but the real effort investment or money investment will happen from 1st of Jan if we achieve the go, no go criteria. And sorry, on the future of fundraising, we are looking at non-fungible tokens, something which Chuck is very familiar with Flow and other models. So we are looking at some interesting ideas. My daughters volunteered to sing 10 songs for us. So those songs will become non-fungible, and we will use them for charity. Meena is going to get embarrassed when I tell her that biryani is going to be made into non-fungible tokens and offered out to the world, because she cooks the best biryani. So there is a lot of stuff that you can, if you want, I'm more than happy to talk through it. Manan will probably put more wisdom into it than I will.
Okay. Thank you, Dash. Thank you.
So Dash, just a very quick note. You've been, I'm not a people's person in terms of talking wise, but up until now, where you are, we are, all, at least I can speak for myself, late entrance to joining you. And I'm glad I've woken up wherever I was, and I'm glad to be part of it. And at least my support is full support from going forward now. We want to be part of your vision. We want to make a difference to the world, and we're there. We are there with you in that journey. Not because I'm your wife, I believe in your concept.
Thank you. You are the COO, so the problem is yours now, not mine. Right? But thank you, sweetheart. I really appreciate it. Baz, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I think it's what everybody else is saying, actually. We've talked a lot about this on and off for the last few years, and I still, in my head, am not clear how I can help, but in any way I can help. You know where I am, just need to give it a shout.
You to help me when we go on that golf course. When you
yeah, of course. Yes.
So Baz and me, we met up, was it last week or?
Week before, I think, yeah.
Before. So we had, there are lots of offline conversations happening, by the way, guys. All I'm doing now is consolidating them in one place. So we had a good conversation on how we can support the charitable sector. So while Small Outside is not a charity, does not want to be a charity, the regulatory overhead is too high. What we want to do is enable people who are doing the impact work. So we are going to go on a golf course once Baz decides which one in fully a couple of weeks. And we're going to look at how we build a SaaS platform to enable the charities. And there are charities which have an annual budget of £5,000. They still have the same regulatory overhead in order to operate over here. So can we create a SaaS platform, which is maybe £5 a month kind of cost, which takes care of all their admin activities and allows them to focus on what really matters. So there are things like that, Baz. If we can work together on that, that'd be great.
Absolutely, and no, absolutely, it's in my interest too. And I like I've said before, there's a lot of people we can help, and we've all tried to do it individually, I'm sure, but as a group, I'm sure we can do a lot more. So that, absolutely, you have my, anytime you need, shout.
Awesome. Thanks, Baz. We've got Mark and, 3 hands up. Mark Hopkins, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hi, Dash. Just to echo everyone else, well done on getting it this far. It looks like the end of the year is quite a key milestone for you. And I know you've done some go, no-go criteria. Can we spend some time on your next call going through that and what you need from us to make it a go? Otherwise, it feels like if it's a no-go, it'd be quite sad.
Oh, that's very sweet, Mark. And it's no different to all the support you've provided all these years. So yeah, absolutely. I'll put that on the agenda for next time. Thank you. We have Agnes's hand up. Agnes, do you want to come in? Agnes?
I'm sorry, I was on mute, it seems. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you.
Yeah, so hello to everybody. It's very nice to be here. As Dash mentioned, I'm really interested in the future of work. So for me, it's an occasion to look how people are interacting and joining together to do something good for the society, for business, and for themselves. So I'm finalizing my future of work report, yearly one. So I hope in the next one I will be happy to write about small outside and successes of the team. And I would be very happy to know you better. So it would be nice to know everybody of you. And I have a side question. Mark Bagiński, do you have some Polish roots? I'm from Poland.
I do indeed. My grandfather was Polish.
No.
But don't speak to me in Polish. It will be a bad experience for everyone.
Okay. It's good to know.
He's more a Scottish lad now, settled in England, isn't it?
Yeah, multinational.
Multinational, truly multinational, Mark. Baz, your hand is still up. Was that for a second point or is that from before?
No, it's from before.
Okay.
Dash, I've got to go, but just quickly, there's a question from Chuck who says that in his day job, he works at the intersection of digital assets and advisory services, so we can learn together. Also, there's a new UK office coming soon, and I need to go. So can someone else keep an eye on the chat?
Yeah, in fact, I can do the chat myself now because I can look at the screen. So I also knew office.
I got it, Dash. I'll take care of it.
Yeah. Go on, check. Was that just an update or was there a question within that?
No, I just, people were asking about cryptocurrencies and assets and so on, and it's something we can all learn about together. And that's the business that I'm in my day job. So we can talk about it later.
Awesome. Like I say, shameless networking is the way to go. So if at the moment, of course, everyone's kind of, it's a bit of a hub and spoke. Everyone knows me, but please reach out, network. Let's have an inter-network, if you like. Let's reach out to each other. And if you need any input or support from Chuck, he comes with a wealth of experience, actually. In fact, I admire Chuck for, on Slack, I posted, he did a TED talk back in 2015 when he was talking about the future of work. So he had seen the future way before we even started thinking of it. So, yeah. Baz?
Did you see a comment from John? I think Chuck's hat deserves a few coins.
He does. Right. On that note, then, Chuck, you get 101 coins. Let's make it happen. Any more? No, Sandeep had said I'll have to drop off. That's fine. Okay, Balaji, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, just a quick one. It's been an honor to have made me pick for this circle one. It's nice to see so many new faces. I thought, like most of us, because we worked together at TF for so many years, I thought there would be familiar faces, but surprisingly, in a good way, lot of new faces, which I've never met or seen before. So it's a good thing. My question is, the things that have been thought through and have happened are work in progress. Is there any material or literature write-up that you could share with us before we go into the next few sessions, or is it too early to ask for such a thing?
So there is, if you're looking for formal documents, there aren't. But what we are doing is we're using Mural board quite actively. So I'm more than happy to, as in some of you have seen the Mural boards. In fact, I'll tell you what, I did a walkthrough. It was just a conversation with Barry, who is also working on the future of work in UK. I published that video. I just recorded it. It made sense, and I published it. That actually has the entire Mural board, and I do zoom in into different sections and explain things. So that's where that's the level of documentation we have. So we're focusing on getting things out.
Yeah. Is it? I mean, just not necessarily to understand or delve into the depths of it, but just to get some overview as to what we are, what is driving this whole thing, this revolution in evolution, if you like.
What's driving it is absolute madness. That's all. But if you look at that video, I think Balaji, it will make sense. It's there on my LinkedIn one. I'm happy to. In fact, I posted it on Slack as well. So if you look at it,
yeah,
a couple of messages back.
Sounds good. Yeah, thank you.
So we've got 3 more minutes to go. Any more for any more? No, sounds good. So can I just quickly check who is coming along to the aviator? So David's coming. Jacob, you still good to come?
I'm not sure. I'm going to be running out the house in a few minutes to go run with my daughter. So I'll see how that plays out, and I'll message you on WhatsApp.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. And Seb, I know Seb, you would love to. Copenhagen is a little further away from here, so we will send you some pics anyways. Right. On that note, guys.
Sorry, Dash. I was going to say next time if you're doing that, yeah, just let us know a bit earlier and time between the meeting and getting there. So wherever it is. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe we need to find.
And when there's no fuel crisis, Dash.
Oh yeah, and that.
It's okay for you with electric cars, but
I know. Switch to electric, my friend.
I'll raise a toast to you, Dash, and to everyone here. And it's been great. It's a great start. We'll be raising a toast or two.
Yes. No, thank you, Sherry. Really appreciate it. We'll keep it virtual for today, but I'm sure at some point we'll all get together and have a massive piece of. Actually, it was quite. I don't know if anyone noticed the picture on the last slide. It sums it up. So what I'll do is I'll quickly go back to screen sharing. And I'll just show you, that's not my intention. My intention is not to be that guy over there, but I think we need to get to a point where we are really having some fun together. And on that note, I think we'll say goodbye and thank you for your time today. I'll send this recording across, certainly on Slack and also on LinkedIn and other ones. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice
Have a
one.
nice
See you all
evening.
soon.
Bye.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.